Solitude is the strength of the strong. The weak depend on crowds. Unknown Sigma. Ladies, let's get real. Being alone isn't a tragedy, it's a strategy. Society tries to sell us the idea that happiness is found in numbers, in social circles, in validation from the outside world. But for a Sigma female, that's just background noise. From the outside, people might assume that a Sigma woman is lonely or that she struggles with connections, but the truth is far from that. A Sigma female doesn't just survive in solitude, she thrives in it. She chooses to be alone, not because she has no other options, but because solitude is where she builds her strength, sharpens her mind, and elevates her life. Many people fear being alone because they've been conditioned to believe that solitude equals sadness. Society rewards extroversion, groupthink, and constant interaction. But a Sigma woman operates on a different frequency. She doesn't need validation, constant socializing, or meaningless chatter to feel fulfilled. Instead, she cultivates a deep and unshakable sense of self that makes her immune to the noise of the world. Today, I'm exposing the real reasons why Sigma women choose solitude. Not because they're lonely, but because they're powerful enough to stand alone. These are the truths no one dares to say out loud. Before we dive in, if you're a true Sigma lady, hit that subscribe button and let's keep rewriting the narrative. Now, let's get into it. A Sigma female doesn't just enjoy quiet, she needs it. While others fear the sound of their own thoughts, she thrives in the silence because that's where her best ideas, biggest breakthroughs, and deepest self-discoveries happen. Silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's a powerful space where clarity is born. While many people use distractions, social media, endless conversations, or external chaos to escape their own thoughts, a Sigma woman understands that true growth happens in moments of solitude. She deliberately carves out time to disconnect from the world and reconnect with herself. In a world that constantly bombards us with information, opinions, and external pressures, finding inner peace can be challenging. But for a Sigma female, mental silence is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. She guards her peace fiercely, understanding that her greatest power lies in her ability to control what she allows into her mind. This ability to embrace solitude gives her an unmatched level of focus. Without the distractions of unnecessary social interactions, drama, or people-pleasing tendencies, she is able to channel her energy into things that truly matter: her goals, her passions, and her personal evolution. She understands that true creativity and innovation are often born in moments of stillness. Unlike others who might feel restless in silence, a Sigma female finds comfort in it. It is in these quiet moments that she reflects on her experiences, processes her emotions, and gains deeper insights into herself and the world around her. She does not rely on external voices to tell her who she is or what she should do. She finds her own answers in the silence. While the rest of the world may chase after social interactions to fill an internal void, a Sigma woman is perfectly content in her own company. She has mastered the art of solitude, turning it into a powerful tool for self-discovery and self-mastery. Instead of fearing quiet moments, she welcomes them, knowing that they are the foundation of her strength, wisdom, and independence. This is why a Sigma female is often seen as mysterious. People don't understand how she can be so comfortable being alone. They assume she must be sad, withdrawn, or antisocial, but what they fail to realize is that her solitude is not a sign of weakness, it's a mark of strength. It takes a certain kind of mental resilience to stand alone in a world that constantly demands conformity. By embracing mental silence, a Sigma woman is able to remain clear-headed and emotionally stable. She is not easily swayed by peer pressure, societal expectations, or fleeting trends. She listens to her own intuition, makes decisions based on her own values, and lives life on her own terms. She is not afraid of being alone because she knows that true confidence comes from within, not from the approval of others. Instead of seeking external distractions, she turns inward, using her solitude as a time to build herself into the best version of who she can be. And that, Sigma ladies, is the power of mental silence. She doesn't buy into the idea that someone else is supposed to complete her. She knows she's already whole. Relationships, friendships, social ties, they're optional, not essential. From a young age, many people are conditioned to believe that happiness comes from external sources: romantic relationships, friendships, family bonds, and social connections. The idea that one must find a missing piece to feel fulfilled is deeply embedded in society. But for a Sigma female, this concept is completely flawed. She does not view herself as incomplete, nor does she believe that another person is required to validate her existence. A Sigma woman is fully aware that she is her own source of happiness, strength, and fulfillment. She does not seek out relationships to fill a void or to feel whole, because there is no void. Instead, if she chooses to engage in relationships, it is out of genuine connection, not necessity. This mindset allows her to enter relationships from a position of strength rather than dependency. Unlike those who constantly search for validation through relationships, a Sigma woman operates from a place of self-sufficiency. She does not need someone to reassure her of her worth or to make her feel special. She already knows her value. While others may feel anxious or incomplete when they are single, a Sigma female sees it as an opportunity to focus on herself, her goals, and her personal growth. This mindset is intimidating to many people. In a world that thrives on codependency, a woman who is truly independent stands out. Some may misunderstand her as being cold or distant, but in reality, she simply refuses to settle for anything less than what she deserves. She does not entertain relationships that drain her energy, nor does she feel the need to maintain connections for the sake of appearances. Another reason she chooses to be alone is because she understands the difference between wanting someone and needing someone. Many people engage in relationships because they are afraid of being alone. They settle for mediocrity because they cannot bear the thought of solitude. A Sigma woman, however, does not operate from fear. If she allows someone into her life, it is because she genuinely values their presence, not because she is afraid of loneliness. By rejecting the myth of completion, she frees herself from societal pressure. She does not rush into relationships just to avoid being single, nor does she compromise her standards for the sake of fitting in. This self-awareness allows her to make intentional choices about who she allows into her life. If a person does not add value to her journey, she has no problem walking away. People often confuse her independence with arrogance, but the truth is, a Sigma female simply knows what she brings to the table. She does not need constant reassurance, grand gestures, or external approval. Her confidence comes from within, and that makes her unstoppable. So while the world continues to push the idea that happiness is found in relationships, a Sigma woman already knows the truth. Happiness is found within. And that's why she chooses to walk alone. She doesn't just protect her time, she protects her energy. A Sigma female guards her inner world like a fortress because she knows that the wrong people can be emotionally toxic. This is why solitude isn't just a preference for her, it's a form of self-preservation. Most people go through life accumulating relationships without considering the cost. They keep toxic friendships out of habit, entertain energy-draining acquaintances out of obligation, and stay in one-sided relationships because they fear being alone. But a Sigma woman doesn't operate this way. She understands that emotional well-being is just as important as physical health. And that means being selective about who she allows into her space. She values her peace above all else, and that means she won't tolerate unnecessary drama, negativity, or emotional manipulation. If someone brings chaos into her life, she is not afraid to walk away, no matter how long they've known each other. Unlike people who stay in toxic environments out of fear or guilt, a Sigma female prioritizes her own mental clarity. This is why she often chooses solitude over forced connections. She does not need to constantly be around others to feel validated. Instead, she uses her alone time to recharge, reflect, and realign with her true self. It's in these moments of solitude that she is able to think clearly, set new goals, and maintain her emotional balance. Being alone allows her to detox from emotional noise. In a world filled with opinions, expectations, and unnecessary distractions, a Sigma woman finds strength in stepping back. She does not engage in mindless socializing just to fill time. Instead, she focuses on meaningful interactions, ones that bring value, inspiration, and positivity into her life. One of the biggest misconceptions about her is that she doesn't care about people. This couldn't be further from the truth. A Sigma woman cares deeply, but she is intentional about where she invests her energy. She does not waste time on fake friendships, forced conversations, or people who drain her spirit. She would rather be alone than be surrounded by the wrong company. Because she detoxes emotionally, she is rarely caught up in the emotional chaos that affects most people. She does not get overwhelmed by social expectations, nor does she feel pressured to conform. She has mastered the art of emotional independence, which allows her to navigate life with clarity and purpose. This ability to disconnect from toxicity makes her incredibly powerful. While others may fall into the cycle of seeking approval, maintaining unhealthy relationships, or feeling drained by constant social interactions, a Sigma woman operates differently. She values quality over quantity, depth over surface-level connections, and peace over social obligations. For her, solitude is not loneliness, it's an emotional detox. It's a way to protect her mind, recharge her energy, and stay aligned with her purpose, and that's why she chooses to walk alone, not because she has to, but because she knows that her greatest strength comes from within. She isn't interested in surface-level connections, and that's why she walks alone. While many people are content with small talk, shallow relationships, and meaningless interactions, a Sigma female seeks something deeper. If a connection isn't real, genuine, and intellectually or emotionally stimulating, she simply won't entertain it. For her, time and energy are valuable resources, and she refuses to waste them on interactions that don't inspire, challenge, or elevate her. Unlike those who engage in constant socializing just to avoid feeling alone, a Sigma woman would rather spend time by herself than engage in conversations that feel forced or superficial. This is why many people find her presence intimidating. She doesn't engage in gossip, she doesn't pretend to be interested in things that don't matter to her, and she has no patience for mind games. When she speaks with purpose. When she listens with intention. She doesn't do small talk. She does deep conversations, real emotions, and genuine connections. The problem? Most people aren't capable of this level of depth. Many people avoid deep conversations because they don't want to confront their true thoughts, feelings, or realities. But a Sigma female doesn't shy away from this. She embraces it. She enjoys exploring complex ideas, analyzing emotions, and having meaningful discussions about life, ambition, and self-improvement. But because deep conversations are rare, true connections are even rarer, and that's why she often finds herself alone. She refuses to settle for relationships that lack substance. She isn't the type to maintain friendships just for the sake of appearances, nor will she stay in a relationship that doesn't stimulate her mind and soul. This makes her a mystery to many. She doesn't fit into the social norms of constant interaction, fake smiles and forced laughter. She is selective, reserved, and unwilling to lower her standards just to fit in. This means she might have fewer friends, but the ones she does have are meaningful, authentic, and deeply connected to her. Her solitude isn't a sign of loneliness. It's proof that she refuses to settle for mediocrity. She would rather have one deep conversation in a month than 100 meaningless ones in a week. She would rather have a single person who understands her than a crowd of people who don't. And this is why she chooses to be alone. Because in her world, quality always beats quantity, depth always wins over surface level, and real connection will always be more valuable than forced companionship. She values freedom more than social acceptance, and that's why she chooses solitude. For a Sigma female, independence isn't just a preference, it's a necessity. While many people shape their lives around societal expectations, relationships and obligations, a Sigma woman moves differently. She refuses to compromise her freedom just to fit into traditional norms or to make others comfortable. Most people are conditioned to believe that happiness is tied to external validation, group belonging, and social connections. They are taught that being alone is something to be avoided, that success is measured by how many people surround them, and that independence should only go so far before it becomes selfish. But a Sigma female doesn't subscribe to these beliefs. She knows that true happiness comes from within, and for her, nothing is more important than living life on her own terms. This level of independence is what sets her apart. While others may feel anxious at the thought of being alone, she thrives in it. She is not afraid to make decisions that serve her best interests, even if they go against the norm. She has no problem declining invitations, walking away from relationships, or choosing a different path than everyone else. Because at the end of the day, she answers to no one but herself. Her freedom extends to every area of her life, her career, her lifestyle, her mindset. She doesn't feel obligated to follow traditional life paths just because society says she should. She is not in a rush to settle down, get married, or conform to outdated ideas of what a woman should do. If she chooses to pursue something, it's because it aligns with her goals, not because it is expected of her. This is why she often prefers solitude. In a world that constantly tries to impose rules and limitations, being alone allows her to stay in control of her life. She doesn't have to compromise, adjust her personality, or water down her dreams for the sake of others. She moves through life unapologetically, making choices that empower her rather than confine her. Many people mistake this independence for arrogance, but it's actually the opposite. A Sigma woman is not dismissive of people, she just refuses to be controlled by them. She understands that many people sacrifice their freedom in exchange for acceptance, approval, or companionship, but she is unwilling to make that trade. She values her autonomy too much to give it away in return for temporary validation. Because of this mindset, she is rarely influenced by peer pressure. She does not feel the need to follow trends, seek approval, or conform to what society expects of her. She sets her own rules, follows her own path, and embraces the freedom that solitude provides. For a Sigma woman, freedom is oxygen, and that's why she chooses to be alone, not because she has to, but because she refuses to live life any other way. Sigma ladies, choosing to be alone isn't about isolation, it's about elevation. The world may not understand your silence, but that's because they're too distracted by the noise. A Sigma woman doesn't walk alone because she has no other choice. She walks alone because she refuses to settle. She values her mind, her energy, and her freedom too much to waste them on meaningless connections, forced interactions, or societal expectations. While others seek comfort in crowds, she finds strength in solitude. While others fear being alone, she embraces it as the ultimate power move. Never let anyone convince you that solitude is a weakness. The strongest people in history, leaders, thinkers, revolutionaries, were often misunderstood for their independence. And just like them, you are carving your own path on your own terms without waiting for permission. So keep building, keep evolving, and most importantly, keep choosing yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only approval you need is your own. If you found yourself nodding along, make sure to subscribe to the Sigma Lady, because this space is for women who refuse to follow the crowd. Until next time, stay strong, stay independent, and stay unapologetically Sigma.